Hello everyone, it's Vesper and Chun-Li again. We're back for our third part here, and we're going to talk on the 7th place standing now with Infiltration. Chun-Li, who the hell is Infiltration?
Infiltration. Right now he's at 642 points in the standing. He is from Korea, and this guy is just nuts at SF4. Like, this guy's like exclusive SF4.
What did Alex Pye say about him? He's like got the reactions of like a 14-year-old kid
I don't
with the wisdom of like an old man or something. I don't know. But basically Infiltration, like at one point people said was the most dominant Street Fighter player of all time.
This was during the arcade version 2012 version. Like, he was the most dominant SF4 player, and like, but he's always been a strong SF4 player. Like, even back in the vanilla days, he was a strong Akuma player. And I think in an interview he talked about how he just got so enwrapped with SF4 that he'd do like all-nighters and then just go to work the next day.
That is crazy. He was basically like undefeated for like a year.
Yes.
A year, man. That is insane for this kind of game.
But remember when we first saw Infiltration?
He was playing Akuma, and he was like seriously the first player I've seen who's like walked full screen and through somebody. And I'm like, who is this guy? I'm like, this guy was insane.
He was the most aggressive Akuma player we've ever seen, and then like the reactions were crazy. Like, I remember those focuses he'd go, like, he'd just do an instant focus right through.
He just used focus in a different... He was just so agile, and it just... He made the character look twice as fast. Every character he plays, he makes him look twice as fast.
So he's just a really talented player, and then like, version 2012, most dominant SF4 player. And then we all remember, like, how I think Evo 2012, where he just bodied Daigo. Just bodied Daigo in top 8 at Evo, and no one was expecting it. This is the matchup that everyone was looking forward to at that year at Evo, and we're like, man, I think Daigo's gonna beat him. It was like, and then all of a sudden, Infiltration made him look free. Just absolutely free. Just totaled him.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And then we got the infamous rematch at the Capcom Cup in 2011, the first Capcom Cup. And then sure enough, winners finals, Daigo versus Infiltration, and Daigo beat him like 3-zip. So we're like, wow, did Daigo already download Infiltration? And then grand finals, he 6-0's Daigo.
Like, there's just so much to talk about Infiltration. The fact that he landed so many Raging Demons that Evo.
Oh my god.
He made that Ultra look so good. And of course, Infiltration won Evo and became the world champion. What's another Infiltration, he uses a million characters. Like, a million characters.
And he all makes them look insane. Like, Hakan. Remember, I think the first time we saw his Hakan, besides his streams and casuals and whatnot, in tournament play, was Evo 2012. When he played against Balrog, I think he was down like 2 matches or something, and then he pulls out Hakan.
Yeah, that was so weird, man, how he does it. He switches it all the time. He plays Chun-Li, he plays Gouken, he plays...
His Gouken was crazy. I think the first time we saw Gouken was Canada Cup 2011, Bonchan versus Infiltration. And then he pulled out Gouken, and we're like, what? Gouken? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, he's making Gouken work, and he just bodied Bonchan with Gouken.
He uses like every normal attack for every character. It's just ridiculous, man. He just knows. He is the closest thing to Kuroda in Street Fighter 4.
Just can make most characters work really well.
Yeah,
like,
I think he understands the game more than anybody else, honestly. The fact that he plays so many characters at such a ridiculously high level,
and
is
he
just...
plays so much. Like, he just, and like the surprising part is Korea isn't really strong for their SF4 scene. Like, there's not too many players in Korea for SF4.
That's true.
But they do produce high quality players. Like, you got Punko in there. I think Zangmu. Remember Zangmu? Geef player.
Yeah.
Canada Cup of 2011. That guy was pretty sick too.
I had to
right?
hold the TV to make sure
yeah.
it didn't fly off.
Yeah, Zangmu would play on the counter, and he would like shake the whole table. but anyways, I digress.
So after saying all of this, how do you think he's gonna do in the tournament?
I don't think he's gonna win, surprisingly enough.
That doesn't make any sense.
I think he has a shot to win. Like, he would be one of the contenders for winning, for sure. It wouldn't surprise anyone if he won.
Yeah.
But it just, like, with the changes in Ultra, like the Kuma nerfs, the system mechanic changes, all that stuff, he doesn't look as strong. as before, but that's with Akuma. He is such a character. He has so many characters at his disposal. I don't know if he's gonna pull a different character out. He could be counterpicking everyone.
Yeah, literally. I'd say he has a mid-level chance of winning, but I would not be surprised in the slightest if he won. I honestly wouldn't be surprised because he's just so good.
He's really talented.
He's just such a good player.
So who are some of the matchups you think he needs to look out for?
Daigo?
Daigo got a marked target on his head?
Oh, Daigo, man. Those guys got beef with each other, man, for sure.
I would love to see another rematch. Remember, like, we talked about earlier about the history between the two, but we also forgot to mention the Mad Cat, I think it was a Mad Catz Unveiled, or maybe it was a TGS or something like that, exhibition match of Daigo versus Infiltration, and Daigo bodied Infiltration, and it was like 10-1 or maybe 10-2.
It was crazy, man.
It was a massacre.
Yeah, it was a massacre. Who else would be a good match for Infiltration?
I think a bad match would be Snake Eyes.
You think so?
Yeah. Akuma, I don't know, like, every time I watch Akuma versus Geef now in Ultra, like, Akuma's getting bopped.
Yeah, and I'm sure Snake Eyes has a ton of Akuma experience, dude. Like, a ton.
So, but then again, would Infiltration use Akuma against Snake Eyes?
Exactly, that's the thing, man, we don't know.
He's got so many characters at his disposal, it wouldn't surprise me if he chose something like Chun-Li. So, I wonder who else. Bon-Chan, maybe? Maybe not so much. Luffy would be interesting, I think.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. One thing I do know is that Infiltration, even if he doesn't win, he is guaranteed to be one of the most entertaining players to watch. All of his matches will be very entertaining because of his aggressive playstyle, and who knows what character he's going to pick. So definitely look out for Infiltration. Okay, next up here in 8th, we got PR Balrog, who is sponsored by Evil Geniuses. So, Killy, who the hell is PR Balrog?
Well, PR Balrog, the PR, I believe, stands for Puerto Rico.
Let's hope so.
And that's not even the name that he kind of gave himself. That's a nickname that he was given by every other player. They just called him the Puerto Rican Balrog.
Really?
Yeah, and he just kind of stuck with it. But now he lives in the US. He's got 596 points, but he qualified at NorCal Regionals?
He plays Balrog, by the way, in case you guys didn't know.
Well, not completely true. He's did a little bit of soul searching. I think he had a Fei Long during Arcade version 2012. In Ultra, though, he's also playing Evil Ryu.
Yeah, he's playing Evil Ryu now, like, that basically is like his main now, almost, right? Like, you'd say his Balrog is his pocket character now?
I'm not sure. He's been using both characters pretty evenly.
You know, PR Balrog, he's just... I feel like people underestimate him, especially, but like his Balrog is just so good, and I feel like the Japanese players have such a hard time with that matchup since Balrog is a very, very rare character in Japan.
Yep.
A very rare matchup, and I feel like he just, like, I don't know, he's their bane for sure, man. And I remember watching PR Balrog, like, since the vanilla days, when he was using Balrog, and he was just abusing the jabs, man. Like, he was jabbing people, was throwing so much, man. I remember when he was against Ed Ma, that Akuma matchup, man, he must have threw him like 18,000 times, man. Seriously.
He's definitely the best Balrog player in the world. I think that's undisputed.
Oh, for sure.
And he's always finding ways to, like, develop something new. Like, Evo 2012, the year that Infiltration won, I think. He was using the focus attack a lot. And everyone's like, man, Balrog's focus is so garbage. But he would always abuse it. He'd be like, jab, jab, walk up, focus. And then people would get caught, crouch teching, and boom, counter hit. He
basically dictates the meta with Balrog for sure. And ever since he's got sponsored, man, he's really picked up. His execution is very good too.
Yeah, Evo is like really execution heavy. A lot of one frame links, but shortly afterwards, like, he had all that stuff mastered.
So how do you think he's gonna do in this tournament?
I think he's gonna do some damage in the bracket. He's definitely not someone to overlook, but I don't think he's gonna win Capcom Pro Tour.
I honestly think he has a very, very low chance of winning, but I feel that a lot of people are scared to play against him in the tournament. Just because
he's got a wow factor.
Yeah, just because of the Balrog matchup alone, I think people are afraid to play him for sure. Which is kind of strange that I think that he has a low chance of winning, but that's just how it is, man, with the character matchups.
Yeah, very surprising. I mean, he was really strong in earlier years too, and then it was a fan favorite because of his performance at Evo 2012.
I really hope no matter what he plays Balrog at least once this tournament, not just go Evil Ryu. I really feel like he should use Balrog. He's just so damn good with him.
I think I made a mistake in the year he was using focus attacks. I think that was 2013 at Evo he was doing that.
Yeah, but he makes that thing
a
lot
that
crazier range than it looks.
That was something that Martin used to do, so it wasn't like anything new. Like this was like back in Vanilla days, Vanilla Super days. Martin used to do that a lot with Balrog too, but brought it back, went full circle, brought it back, and it was just wrecking people.
Isn't Balrog better now that he has the red focus?
Not necessarily. I don't think he really capitalized off of it too much. I don't know. I haven't really seen much Balrog play in general. Like the character pretty much dropped off.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
But who do you, like some of the matchups going into this? Who do you think Pure Rog is gonna have a good matchup or maybe struggle with?
Let's see here. Bonchan.
Yes. Yeah.
Bonchan.
Luffy probably, right?
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, Luffy for sure too.
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes. Yep. Just because of the Zangief matchup alone.
He's actually got a pretty good track record against Infiltration as well.
Really?
Yeah. He has been Infiltration before, so... Daigo maybe?
Well, everyone's gonna have problems against Daigo, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that's how it's gonna be. Moving on to Ricky Ortiz, who's 9th with 570 points. Ricky Ortiz is from the US, and I actually known Ricky from CVS2 days, man. He was an absolute monster at that game. Like, that was his main game, man. And he transitioned to Street Fighter 4 pretty well. Did he started pretty late in that game?
No, I think he started in Vanilla days.
Really?
Yeah.
I know Justin's been helping out a lot with that game, and Ricky uses Rufus, right?
Yep. And they're both evil geniuses.
Yeah, they're both in the same.
And Pure Rog too.
Yeah, that's true. So obviously, he learned a lot from Justin with his Rufus. But do they play the same type of Rufus, you think?
No, I think those two have very distinct Rufus playstyles, especially with some of the options they go for in certain scenarios. Like I know in the corner, Ricky will go for damage output, and Justin would prefer the setup, like a mix-up afterwards.
And Ricky, you know, I don't think he wins that much, but he places high so much. He got second at Evo.
Evo 2011, yes.
Yeah, that was against Daigo, right?
Daigo, yeah.
Yeah. And recently, his execution is so good. Like his Rufus lately.
Oh yeah, he was hitting all those 1 frames at
man,
Evo, this year's Evo. Like he made top 8 or top 16 at Evo, and he was like looking really strong. Like I remember when he was fighting Itabashi Zangief, he made that matchup look so favorable for Rufus. He just Itabashi didn't know what to do. He couldn't get in. He just kept him out all day. Yeah,
Ricky's strongest suit is definitely his reaction time, and his execution is really, really good. So how do you think Ricky's going to do in this tournament?
Ricky doesn't appear that strong lately at SF4. Like he kind of dropped off recently. Well, not necessarily recently. I think since Super, I guess. And so I don't think he's going to win Pro Tour. I think he has a pretty low chance at winning. But I don't know, like his Evo performance was amazing, so maybe he has a good chance of causing a lot of upsets.
He's definitely going to be practicing very hard, for sure, because you can tell. His execution's just been so on point here. But I do feel also that he has a very low chance of winning this tournament. Who do you think he's going to be watching out for? Everybody?
There's just so many people he's got to watch out for. I mean, his own teammates for sure. They all play together, like the train and all that stuff. I know he's really good friends with Pure Rog, and they used to train a lot in the old days. I don't know about recently. And he's got to get over that EG special, man.
Yeah. Which match would you like to see Ricky play, though?
Zen.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Shan?
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting one. Luffy as well, because they didn't get to play each other at EVO, and I think Ricky would probably have been one of the players who could have been Luffy.
Yeah, you know what? That's a matchup I really want to see for this tournament, is Ricky against Luffy, for sure. That's one of the highlights I want to see.
I think some players probably want to see that EVO 2011 rematch of him versus Daigo.
That'd be pretty sweet, too.
Actually, he got his run back, CEO 2012, something like that. and both Ricky and Justin beat Daigo that year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like a 1-2 combination. Like I think Ricky or Justin sent him to losers, and then the other one took him out.
Poor Daigo. But that was before Daigo started modding his buttons, right?
You and the damn mod.
I'm sorry, man. I have to keep mentioning it. I told you every time, man. Next up here, we got Choo Choo in 10th place here at 566 points. And Killy, I genuinely mean this. Who the hell is Choo Choo? Seriously.
Yeah, Choo Choo kind of flew under the radar. He's from Brazil, so he's not really known outside of that area.
Mm-hmm.
At least I don't think so.
Who's he playing?
He has actually 3 characters that I know of: Chun-Li, Sakura, and Viper.
Who's his main? Chun-Li?
Chun-Li was his main, like Vanilla and Super, I believe. I'm not sure.
He played in the Vanilla days?
I guess so.
Oh.
Based on some of the commentary of that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but there is some controversy about this guy, right?
Yeah, for the way he qualified, because he didn't qualify at any tournament. He did win one of the ranking tournaments, so he got a good decent amount of points there. But I think about 60% of his points was from the online qualifiers.
Oh.
So apparently there was some controversy over there saying like, oh, you won some online tournaments, online doesn't mean as much, blah blah blah. So, but I mean, he was consistent. Like he won majority of those. He did win an actual tournament in Brazil, and he's a pretty solid player. Like I've seen a couple of his matches, and he's got a
I've seen him play too. He is good. He is definitely good. I don't know what the whole thing with this online tournament, like what the problem is. Like it's not like it was a secret that you could enter this tournament or something. It's not like he got, you know, like some kind of crutch, you know, like some advantage over everybody else. He earned it like everyone did. Like these were the rules. So I don't see what the problem is.
I have no idea. I don't know why people want to kind of take away from his achievements.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know much about this guy though, to be honest. So it's tough to say how he's gonna do in this tournament.
I think by far he is definitely the underdog.
He's
of
the biggest underdog for sure, man. Like big time.
Just flew under the radar because of the online qualifiers. Because you didn't really see much of his play. I mean, you still have some of his play that you can find, but that's like earlier.
He must have crazy reactions if he won online. Seriously, he must be crazy.
So, I mean, he seemed like a really solid player based on the match videos I've seen of him. So, I'm not sure how he's going to do, though, because all of these people are killers in this top 16 here.
Yeah, I guess the only advantage we would have is these players will definitely not be looking out for him, and they won't know how he plays.
Exactly.
And he'll know, it'll be the opposite. He'll know everyone else plays.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know much about this guy. So
yeah, being the underdog, I don't think he has a good shot. I think he's probably the lowest shot at winning Capcom Pro Tour. But you never know. He could cause an upset, and that's kind of part of it. Like getting into top 16 here, that's enough to show like he's someone to look out for. But just don't know.
Yeah, one thing for sure though, this is an amazing opportunity for him to put his name on the map and finally just, you know, prove himself to everybody that he is a contender. This is like the perfect opportunity, and he has earned it. Top 16, man.
Yep, I mean 10th place in the ranking points. I mean he's got higher points than a lot of other players that are more well known here.
So expect to see him in the finals, and I guess that's it for today, guys. We'll see you guys in the next part.